today. Today is October 8th of 2014, and we are here on one of our NACWE expert calls. We every single month, actually more than once a month, we always bring in an expert here to NACWE, and we've been doing that for 4.5 years. And I'm very excited today to present you with one of my mentors and one of my trainers that I have learned from over the years. But let me go ahead and kick us off with a prayer before I introduce him and dive in, all right? So let's pray. Father God, I just thank you so much for the opportunity to come and to learn and to grow together. Lord, I know I've made so many mistakes. I make them all the time. Lord, I've made them in my personal life. I've made them in my business life. And being an entrepreneur, we have our heart really out on a shingle. And so many people can see us. So many people can see what we're doing and what we believe in, but also they can see our mistakes. So, Lord, I just thank you today for grace. I thank you today for the freedom to do what we've been called to do. I thank you for the fact that sometimes we are here to teach and sometimes we are here to learn, and that really changes throughout the day. So, Lord, I'm just excited to learn today and look forward to this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Well, Joyce, thank you so much for being here, and we're going to be excited for other women to jump into the room. Hopefully they have the link. We've posted it again over in the private group. I want to be mindful and introduce our expert today. Actually, let me grab your official bio. But the exciting thing for me about having you here with us, Drayton, is that before I even launched this association, I was in your class. And so let me officially introduce you, and then I'm going to pass the baton to you so that I can take notes because I'm ready to learn. Drayton Boylston is an internationally respected coach, author, speaker, and spiritual adventurer. I love that. He is inspired by others seeking to better themselves and therefore the planet. He is driven by the whispers from his soul that took him years to truly hear and heed. While he had a crazy good ride, I love that, in the corporate world, and a former CEO and Fortune 100 executive, he has blazed a much different trail over the second half of his life. This new trail of spiritual discovery has led him to shift his entire focus to help others along on their own spiritual adventure. And he has had the privilege to teach thousands of beautiful souls in 36 countries. And basically what I want to get to is that he lives in the Colorado Rockies. He is the founder of what is now called the Executive Coaching University, which used to be called the Rescue Institute. And I hopefully will tell you more about that. That's how I found him, with the Rescue Institute. And I found, I'm going to just do a personal introduction now. I found Drayton when I was seeking to get more training. And I had gone through, I believe, the Get Clients Now training to become a Get Clients Now facilitator. I'd gone through Life Purpose Coach training. And a lot of the women that had come to me really needed business support. It really needed business training and marketing training. And I felt like I needed to add more qualifications, and I wanted to diversify into working with more business owners and executives. And so I found out about your program. I signed up very quickly for it and went through that, and then have since then told some other people about your program, and really was just grateful for that training. And also, so Joyce, I just want you to hear this because Joyce has walked this journey with me. Drayton reached out to me through Facebook. This is the power of our influence. Drayton reached out to me through Facebook, acknowledging my vulnerability, acknowledging what I had been posting on Facebook about rock bottom, acknowledging the path that I have walked through personally and professionally, and sharing that with the world. So I've really taken one of my giant failures, so to speak, and turned it into a book, turned it into a business. And Drayton really saw that and offered to come teach us. So Drayton, I'm just excited to have you here. Thank you so much for teaching me and being a part of my life. I'm going to pass the baton to you and turn off my screen so I can learn and listen, okay?
Absolutely, Diane. Thank you for having. Welcome to everyone, whether you're here with us live or you'll be listening to this at some point in the future. I appreciate what you do. And Diane, I appreciate what you do. And I was so taken by that vulnerability that you spoke of. And it takes so much courage to do that. And for all of us, when we're out there, we're here to be of service. And that's what I'm here to do today, is to be of service in any way that I can. So part of that is, yes, and this expert thing cracks me up too, right, Diane? So what is an expert? And what I will tell you is that I've been blessed with a great journey, and I've learned a lot, hopefully, along the way. And I want to share some of that with you today. And I want to applaud your courageousness. If you're an entrepreneur, you're doing an amazing thing that the vast majority of people do not have the courage to jump out and do. So whatever knowledge, wisdom I can impart, offer up today, I'm happy to do so. And as part of that is, if you have any questions, pose them as we go. And I'll be asking some questions in terms of, have you done these things? Have you thought about these things? And it's so important for us to focus on the business fundamentals. And Diane mentioned my path in terms of the business world and the crazy run I had, and I feel very blessed to have that. It almost killed me, but I'm here to teach again today. But one of the things I learned, I came up through the financial services world, and I was fortunate enough to run some large companies. And part of that is we invested in a lot of different organizations over the years. And I have been so fortunate to see thousands upon thousands of business plans, businesses in operation, and see what works and what doesn't. And this program today is a byproduct of that experience in terms of, what do you need to do to create and maybe get to the next level as a business owner. And it's so important for us to focus on the fundamentals. And I'm going to tell you about some things that I hope will help you today in terms of, let's actually do something. Let's take this information that I'm going to give you today, and I want a commitment from all of you to do something with it. I don't want to just be the talking head, no, oh, that was fine, and you close the computer screen, that's it. There are going to be some action items, and I'm going to request that you do a number of different things coming out of this program. That's what it comes down to in terms of, if you really want to focus on your business and do it well, we need to take some action. So I'm going to jump right into this and tell you what we're going to be talking about for the next hour. Really want to get into, and this is a provocative title that I threw out there, Why Entrepreneur, the top 10 ways to fail as an entrepreneur. I want you to be cognizant of these things, and certainly I'm on the other side of the coin in terms of, I want to pose and talk about the positive and how you succeed, yet I want to get your attention with why people fail at this. And it's really important to acknowledge that and see, look into your business with a very objective set of eyes and see what you may need to change. And then we'll talk about how you succeed. That's the most important thing. We're going to talk just very quickly on why the failure happens, but how do you succeed? And then, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about these concrete success steps. What do you need to do moving forward to make your business even more successful, or if you're just starting out? We get a lot of people that go through our trainings that are just starting out and they're trying to figure things out. The best place to start is with the fundamentals, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So part of this is, I look at this, the whole make money thing, and that's a byproduct of what we do. What I would ask you to think about right now is, and it's something, in fact, Diane, before we even started today, one of the first things I do, and I do this constantly all during the day, is, how may I serve? So before we started this program, I looked in the mirror and asked, how may I serve? And that is so important. Yes, money is important because, as we like to say here, you have to earn more to serve more. And that's just a fact. And part of that is understanding that we're coming here, we've been put on this earth to serve other people. You've been given gifts, And we want to help you maximize those gifts, and so you can serve more. And part of that is the whole money thing. And quite frankly, I would guess a lot of people that are listening to this are going, oh, money, money, money. And people freak out and they don't want to talk about it. And they think it's, this thing that, oh, what do I do about the whole money situation? Well, it's a fact that we have to make money in order to keep doing what we're doing. And I would ask you to embrace that and get comfortable and gain a sense of peacefulness with money, because it's simply a tool. That's all it is. It doesn't have any energy unto itself. It's simply a tool to serve more people. And part of this is thinking bigger. We want you to think bigger. And look, Diane, I'm actually using the highlighter. We want you to think bigger. And so many people think about, okay, I need to serve this one person or these 5 people. Well, I'll tell you just a quick story. Diane alluded to the Rescue Institute, and I started the Rescue Institute to help 100,000 executives save themselves from the lives they've created. And that was 15 years ago. And then that mission, and it was always mission driven, mission grew to 100,000 people, and then to 1 million people. And now it's at 10 million people. And we've transitioned into the Executive Coaching University, and now we've trained people in 39 countries, thousands of people, on how to serve other people. And I would throw out that however many people you're serving today, add a 0 to it. And yes, it's going to freak you out, and it's really scary at times to think about that. But we need good-hearted, well-intentioned servant souls to go out and serve more people. So please give that some thought. I love this picture. At times, do you feel like this? You feel like, oh, I'm just hung up on the fence and I don't know what I'm going to do. That's the way a lot of entrepreneurs feel at times. I've felt that way, and you're gonna feel that way. This word, I will tell you, failure is not what you think it is. I always look at this as it's simply a teacher. Don't like the word, don't like the connotation. It's simply an opportunity to learn from what you just experienced. That's it. There's no such thing as failure from where I'm coming from. And I would like to embrace the fact that whatever you've gone through, and I love Diane's rock bottom, learning from those things, approaching those as your teachers. What do they teach you? What are they here to help you understand? And embracing the fact, and this kind of blows some people away sometimes, but things don't happen to you. They do not happen to you, they happen for you. So if you shift that whole failure mindset and think about, okay, what happened right now happened for me versus to me, it helps you shift from that whole victim mentality of, oh, the world's caving in on me and I can't do anything, and going to the poor, pitiful me place versus, okay, so this happened for me. How can I reframe this whole experience to look at it from that vantage point? No such thing as failure. So one of the first ways people don't succeed, let's call it that instead of the failure piece, is they don't have a support system. So you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach, you don't have a consultant, you don't have a trusted advisor, you don't have a sounding board in any way, and you don't have the support maybe of your friends or your family or your loved one. That is such a big part of this puzzle. You cannot go at this alone. And we'll talk about what to do about that shortly. You don't have a business plan. And I would like to see a show of hands just with the people here. Who has a business plan? How many people have an actual business plan? And I'll get into what that entails. We're not talking about War and Peace. We're just talking about a fundamental plan, and I'll give you details on that in just a minute. But how many people have a business plan? And just give us some comments if you would. Now, this is that nasty money thing, right? Don't have cash reserves. So even if you're starting out in business or if you've got an existing business, you don't necessarily have a strategy around the cash reserve. So if there's a pothole you hit, something happens, you lose a client, you lose a big customer, you don't have cash reserves to weather that storm. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is such a huge thing in any service industry. So if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if you're a speaker, if you're just in that personal development side of the world. And for really any business, you need to have a really clearly defined niche. And I love saying that word because a lot of people go niche, and who knows? I'm going to say niche today. Chasing shiny pennies. We'll talk about, if you haven't heard this before, I'll get into what exactly this is, but so many people that are out there in the entrepreneurial world chase these shiny pennies. And we'll talk about what that means project after project, and that's just a sure way to not succeed. Marketing. Now, a lot of people out there that we talk with all over the world, it's like marketing and selling and all this. It's like, oh, I'm here to serve. I don't want to do all that stuff. It's so pushy and all that. Well, the reality is it doesn't have to be. Diane's a great example of this. So she has so much courage and confidence that she just pulled back that curtain of transparency to let the world know where she's coming from. And that's what really, I just got a big smile on my face when I started seeing some of her postings on Facebook and other places. It's a beautiful thing to be transparent, yet it takes a lot of courage. And people are attracted to that. So people come to Diane to do certain things, and they have certain goals. And she's not out there selling anything. She's not out there marketing, other than she's showing up as herself in full transparency to serve other people, and that's a really beautiful thing. This is another part of personal growth and training. People that are not succeeding are not committed to this, and we'll talk about the whys and what to do about it. Follow through, and this kind of goes hand in glove with the whole shiny penny thing. So you don't necessarily follow through on all the things that you need to. Playing to your strengths. You know, there's been a movement afoot for years to work on your weaknesses, and you know, you have to focus on this. And the reality is, I don't look at any of these as weaknesses. You know, whatever you have that you possess, they're simply opportunities. You have an opportunity to manage around them. You have an opportunity to surround yourself with people that can help you in those areas that you may not be so great at. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So people don't play to their strengths. You know, the first thing that you need to do, you know, as we transition into this is, you know, what you do about it. Your support system. So what I'd like to have all of you do is write down right now, what does your support system look like? Who do you have that supports you? And just take some time and think about this. Who supports you? Is it a spouse, significant other? Is it a friend? Do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? Who actually supports you? This group is a great example of this. This is a group that supports each other and fosters growth. Great thing to be a part of. Who do you have besides this tribe, this community that supports you? And do they really support you? Or are they just giving you that, oh, that's nice. But they're really not there to give you the support that you need. And that's so important to have this support system. And it could be you've got a quid pro quo relationship with a fellow entrepreneur, and you get together and you talk about what's working, what isn't. And they can give you candid, unbiased feedback. And that's a huge part of this. Is that you've got two things. You've got a person or an entity that'll give you unbiased, very direct feedback, and you've got an accountability system. And we like to talk about accountability partners. So who is your partner that's going to say, you know what, you committed to this date, you haven't lived up to it, you need to get busy. And you know, we call it the velvet whip. You know, you just okay, you're not doing it. Why? Let's get into it and let's figure out the whys and remedy this situation. So you need to have that accountability partner that's going to help you work through some of these challenges. So the support system is huge. You need to spend time on it. You need to think about, okay, so do I have my legal, my accounting, all these different facets of your business. Do you have them covered in terms of your support system? And the other thing is that, we're out here on an island as an entrepreneur. It's an island. I've worked in very, very large companies, and I've run my own, larger companies, but also smaller businesses such as the Executive Coaching University. And I will tell you, unless you formulate this and have a good team around you, which we're blessed to have here, and wonderful people all over the world that are part of our team, it gets lonely. And you're, in your office, let's say, and you've got a service business and you don't have a physical location. You're in your office, you're wearing your PJs and your bunny slippers and all that. And life is great, and you're not interacting with people. So the support system is so huge, whether you have a mastermind group, which is great. If you're not a member of one, then maybe you put one together. It's such a powerful thing. I will tell you that I have at any one time between 2 and 3 coaches. And it is the best thing, because they are there to bless their souls, they're there to give me the unfiltered feedback that I need. Because a lot of times I can't see the forest for the trees, and I'm too close to it, and I need someone that's going to be objective to really help me see the 360. So work on your support system. Devote some time to it, and just think about not only your support system, but how also you can help as a supporting person for someone else. And again, back to that servant's mentality. Think about how you can be of service to others and be part of their support system. So get the conversation going with your colleagues, your friends, and help each other out. That's what we're here to do. The business plan, when I had the first slide on about the business plan, and I'm sure people were going, oh my goodness gracious, I don't know what to do. It's, how do I even start? It's very, very simple. You don't need to make this a science project. What I would like for you to do is do a one-page business plan. And that one-page business plan just covers the areas that you need to. So it's the metrics, so it's the sales, revenue, those types of things, the math, as we refer to it, so the math, the marketing. And one of the first things I love to see at the top of the business plan is, who are you here to serve? So no matter what kind of business that you are in, being a service is at the top. So when you get crystal clear about who you are here to serve, everything else becomes self-evident. And you'll be able to drill down this and get very clear. And part of that clarity, and we'll talk about it when we get to the niche, is addressing points of pain. But for the business plan, keep it very, very simple. One of the things that happens with people is they have project paralysis. And let's say you want to design a website, and it's going to take 150 different steps to make that a reality. People get paralyzed to the point where they won't even take that first step. Any of these things, simply break it down into manageable things that you can do today. And for the business plan, if you can do one thing today, figure out who you're here to serve. And we'll talk about that further when we get to the niche piece. So one-page business plan that covers everything that you can refer back to when you're getting off course a little bit, and you can say, oh, here's my business plan, here's what I'm here to do. It's kind of that true north for you. So keep that in mind. And people think, oh, I don't know, is it the business plan, like I'm going to take it to the bank or to get financing? No. This is just a tool to help you focus. That's it. So keep the basic things in the business plan. Keep it one page. Keep it simple, and use it as your compass as you move forward. Now, the money thing again. You need to have a cash reserve strategy. And by that, I mean, how much are you going to keep? We call it dry powder, just money in reserve that you can draw upon if you hit a bump in the road. And how much do you need? And this, for entrepreneurs, it's personal living expenses. You want to have a minimum 3 months, but ideally 6 months of living expenses covered. And a lot of people freaking out now going, I don't have that. Well, if you don't, that's okay. Create a strategy where you can accumulate that going forward. and make a commitment to put, X amount every single week into your cash reserves, so you don't have that stress when you get to that place where you may hit a bump in the road where you're going, I don't have any money. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this and they don't want to think about it, but the reality is you need to be very realistic about this. And 80% of small businesses in particular fail because they don't have this. They don't have a cash reserve strategy. And if you're just starting out your business, that's a great time just to figure out exactly how much you're going to keep in reserve and make a commitment to keep that in reserve until you actually need it. And if you don't, great. It's still there. It's kind of that sleep at night factor. You're going to sleep better at night knowing that you have this in place. And that's so important. So question for all of you, how many people have a cash reserve strategy? How many people have a cash reserve strategy? We've got some people saying they do. That's great. That's awesome. If you don't, start today. Start today and commit to it and devote 15, 20 minutes after we conclude today in working on this. It will help you, just from a peace of mind standpoint, it'll help you tremendously. Now this, if you take one thing away today, have it be this. Any entrepreneur needs to focus on this, and what we have found over the years is that so many people have this wide focus, which kind of oxymoronic, isn't it? They don't have this, they have this, and there's no focus at all, really. It's so wide. This is particularly true in the personal development world. So for coaches, trainers, speakers, people like that, they want to be all things to all people. And we have never seen that work ever. And when you get to the place where you go narrow and you go very deep and you're dealing with the points of pain, and I'll get to that in detail in just a second, that's where you're going to find success. And a lot of people go to that scarcity place where they go, well, if I'm not, my messaging and marketing is not out there appealing to a big group of people, I'm going to fail. I have to appeal to this broader group. And the reality is that just does not work. You need to, and wherever your niche is now, I would like for you to go back and revisit it, or if you don't have one, it's a great time to start with this methodology, this strategy around that. Think about how you can narrow it down and go much deeper. And to the point where I've seen people that serve this niche that you would think there wouldn't be any business there, but there is. And what we ask you to do is to think about being a thought leader. So be courageous and be out there and be that lightning rod for your particular area of focus. And that will be the game changer. So no matter what business you're in, if you gain clarity around this and this only, it can lead to success. And I would ask you to think about your niche, and then whatever you come up with, challenge yourself, and hopefully your support team will challenge you too, your coach, mentor, whomever it might be, to go even more narrow and deeper and see what happens. And part of this is, as you go narrow and deep, you need to figure out two things. First of all, when you can close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, you can actually see your ideal client or customer. When you see that in your mind's eye, that person, that business that you're catering to, it's going to change everything. When you actually feel their points of pain, and again, no matter what you're doing, this holds true. So when you can figure out this ideal person that you're here to serve and their actual points of pain, you're golden. And that puts you in that servant mindset versus what can I sell to these folks? It's more, okay, I see this person that I'm here to serve. I know their points of pain, and this is what I can do to help them. That's what serving is all about. And again, no matter what business you're in, you get this figured out and you are absolutely golden. And I will tell you, the vast majority of the time, the key to all of this is your journey. Spend some time just doing, we have an exercise, it's the rear view mirror exercise, and we have people start when they're in kindergarten and just the earliest memories of what they wanted to be when they grow up, and take them through their journey through grade school and high school and college if they go to college, and then their careers in the business world if that's the route they go. And think about your teachers along the way, and think about the lessons that you have learned and what wisdom that has given you. And personally, so I call myself a recovering CEO. So I started the Rescue Institute to help people save themselves from the lives they've created, because that's what I did. And I had to come up with this method. Literally, I was going to kill myself, literally working myself to death. I wasn't going to see age 40. And when I came up with this methodology on how to save yourself from the life you've created, and that's what started all of our courses over the years. And when you come up with that and you see, I saw these execs going through the exact same thing that I was going through or had gone through. And I wanted to help them so desperately. And I knew their points of pain. And I knew the messaging that had to happen to reach these folks. And that was the genesis of what is now the Executive Coaching University. So we cater to specific people. We train people to deal with others around the world. And it's not just executives now. Certainly, it's any people in business or anybody that really needs a coach, which all of us do. So this is such an important thing to spend time on and to refine it. And if you think it's narrow, it can be even more narrow. And challenge yourself and tell the people around you in your support system, this is what you want to work on. I want to go even more narrow and deeper with this. And think about what it's going to take to become a thought leader. So like Diane's done. So you write and you're transparent and you impart your knowledge and talk about your journey and how using that journey can help you help others if they're going through similar things. And it's that alignment of the message from your journey to what you're offering to people to help them along their journey, if that indeed is what you do. It's magical. And once you get crystal clear on this, it can transform your business. We've seen so many people come through, coaches, trainers, speakers come through the Executive Coaching University, and they're so broad. Okay, I'm going to cater to men in business, and it's like, what does that get you? And then they refine and refine and refine, and we have people that now one of our students is the restaurant coach, and he caters to struggling restaurants. And going into it, he was like, I don't know what to do. I'm a chef. I don't know. And so it's that refinement that is so critical, and it's all about picturing your ideal client and seeing their points of pain, literally seeing their points of pain and feeling them, and then coming up with ways to help them. And this is true for any business. You look at Apple and IBM or any of those, any company, they have figured this out, the successful ones. Shiny pennies. Now, I will tell you, and I was telling Diane before we got started here, I've got a project board in my office because, believe me, I have to deal with the shiny penny thing. And it's my focus board, basically. So it's got all the projects that I'm focusing on right now visually, so I'm not going to stray. The shiny penny thing, and hopefully I'm getting some chuckles here because so many people deal with this. And the shiny penny thing, just if you're not familiar with this, you're chasing the shiny penny. So it's that exciting new project. So you're working on a project, you want to get it to the finish line, and then you go, oh, what about that project? That's so exciting. And then you go and work on that. And the other one never gets completed. And you're working on that new one. Then all of a sudden you go, oh, that's so exciting. I want to work on that. And you go and work on that. And what happens is you just leave this trail of crumbs. And nothing ever gets to the finish line. The shiny penny thing is exciting, right? Because we go to a new project, and this is the bane of the existence of entrepreneurs, because you're all about this. You think about the excitement of the new project, and then you have to get into it, and that drudgery of actually completing it and going through the mechanics, and then it just loses its luster and you lose your momentum. And that's where the support system's so important with this, is that they can tell you, you're chasing the shiny penny, focus on these, 2 projects that you have on your plate right now, get them to the finish line and earn the next project. And it's that kind of discipline that is so absolutely important for entrepreneurs, to keep that focus and don't chase the shiny pennies, and keep your projects, if you do like I do with the focus board for your projects, and I certainly have it in my, all of my follow-up list that I keep, and keep that very regimented and keep that discipline, because entrepreneurs are all about ideas, right? We love these new ideas and we get so excited and nothing gets to the finish line. Commit to get things to the finish line, build that support system around you, so you'll have people going, you know what, I just flat out need to finish this, and have people hold you accountable. And I love it. I love that. Yeah. Oh, look, a squirrel. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. You're working on a project, all of a sudden, it's kind of this societal ADD that we have now, that it's just, well, have the discipline with the support system to get these projects to the finish line. Because when you don't, and look at it this way, if you don't get the project to the finish line, you can't serve the people that you're here to serve. And so you're just going in this very vicious circle of not getting anything done, and therefore you're not serving anybody. Because the project you're working on may well indeed and should address one of their biggest points of pain and help them transform their lives. Keep that in mind as you keep yourself from chasing these shiny pennies. And I love this. And we joke about it all the time. We get in our team meetings here, and we just talk about, okay, we're not doing that because shiny penny, we can address that next meeting when we complete this project. And so we earn the right to get to the next project. That's it. And that's the support system, so key. So if you don't like to do some of these things after you get excited by the shiny penny, build your support system where you have people that will do those things that you don't like to do for you. So for instance, we have contractors all over the world, and we have a project and we know whose strong suit is doing X, Y, and Z, and who can do this for us over here. And I've got all these people that we can just say, send an email, they'll work on it while you're sleeping and have it for you in your inbox the next morning. It's kind of the Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week model, which we've used for, gosh, I don't know, a decade now. And that is so critical. That's part of your support team. So back to playing to your strengths. That is a big part of this. Play to your strengths and build your system. Marketing has to be your top priority. I'll give you an example of this. So we have a commitment on Monday for 3 hours every Monday morning. We call it Marketing Monday. And we spend that time solely. It's blocked out on my calendar and everybody else's calendar. That's all we do. Marketing Monday. And if you're new, you've got a new business, or your business is just getting out of the gate, you need to make this a priority daily. So you won't have a Marketing Monday, you'll have a marketing every single day, Monday through Friday. And you have to make this a priority no matter what business you're in. Marketing has to be there. And I will tell you, the world of marketing is completely different than it was even a few years ago. We've had some breakthrough things that we have just experienced. In fact, this last couple of weeks that we found out about that have increased our exposure tenfold. Yes, tenfold. That's what's happened. I just looked at the stats this morning. So marketing, it takes a lot of time to ferret through the noise. And you, again, surround yourself with experts that know this stuff. We have great people that say, hey, have you looked at this? This is what we're doing now. It's working. But the marketing world, again, no matter what your business is, it's changed. And certainly with the social media component, it's a different world today than it was even just a few years ago. So you need to devote the time and effort to it and make it a priority. It's not, you open the doors and they're going to flood in. It doesn't work that way. And you have to create the messaging around your niche, how you're going to be of service, what points of pain that you address, and then everything becomes crystal clear. How many people, just show of hands again, just how many people take classes and they read and they do all of the personal growth things that we should be doing? Great. Some people are saying yes, yes, yes. I love this. I just saw a big thing on book reading, and that 80% of college graduates never read another book, and the average person, when they buy a book, reads 17 pages. And all of the stuff in terms of what are people doing? Well, as thought leaders, we can't take that role and embrace it if we're not doing this, if we're not committing to our own personal growth. And whatever that looks like for you, reading, being part of a group that talks, maybe it's a book club or something else, any of that is important. Take classes. I take classes constantly. When I first started in this business 15 years ago, when I made the transition, I took every single coaching program that was available that I could find, every single one. So some of them were virtual at the time, which was cutting edge, and a lot of them were in person, and I took all of them because I wanted to figure this stuff out. And that's where we came up with our own process and saw where the deficiencies were and all that. Yet I wouldn't have figured all that out had I not gone there and exposed myself to that. So have a personal growth plan. And this is, I look at physical, spiritual, financial, all of those things. It's that wheel of life approach. Have a personal growth plan for all of those. It's so key, and you deserve it. I would guess that so many people listening to this are of the servant mindset, and they think about others before themselves. And what I know is that we have to take care of ourselves and do the things that we need to in order to serve other people. You need to be of service to yourself first, whatever that looks like. So your health, your spiritual life, your family life, all of those things, the give back in the community. Take care of yourself first in order to serve more. And you should not put yourself second. In a lot of cases, a lot of people put themselves last. No, make a commitment. One of the things we talk about in our coaching certification program is we wipe the slate clean and we rebuild the calendar. So you take your calendar and take everything off of it and start with the fundamentals, which starts with you. So put in time for yourself, put in time for your family, and then you layer in the business thing. So it's a reversal. It's a values proposition, and it's a reversal of the way people typically operate. Please keep that in mind. Follow through. You've got to have a methodology and an accountability plan, and hopefully an accountability partner in order to follow through. So this goes hand in glove with the shiny penny. The shiny penny, you'll keep chasing things and never get it to the finish line. If you keep doing that, you have to follow through. And follow through means take it to the finish line and make a commitment and be as good as your word. A lot of people think, oh, I'm as good as my word and I follow through. Well, what would the other person on the other side of the equation say? And don't try to take on too much and disappoint others and yourself. Take on what you can actually follow through on and deliver. And this is so important, to keep your word, to make sure that people can count on you and you can count on yourself. And it helps your confidence tremendously. A lot of people say, I do this. Well, the vast majority of the people don't. Play to your strength. Again, the weaknesses thing is very overrated. So play to your strengths and really surround yourself with the people that can accentuate the things that you don't want to do or you may not be so great at. whatever that looks like. Play to your strengths. Spend time doing the things that really jazz you. That's where, the things that that you're curious about, that you love to do, that you get lost in the time that you're doing this, you get in that zone, play to those things. And mold your calendar where you're spending your time doing that. And all this other stuff, figure out a plan for that. So have contractors or employees, other people doing these other things that you don't like to do. And the working on the weaknesses things, we shouldn't avoid those, right? We shouldn't say, I don't have any weaknesses. No, it's just coming up with a plan that plays to your strengths in the best way possible without ignoring your weaknesses, just acknowledging them. And looking at them, every single so-called weakness is just that opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity. Opportunity to grow your business, to bring in other people to help you in these particular areas. They're all, if you look at every single so-called weakness, it's simply an opportunity. Now, this is where I'm going to ask you to step up and to do something with this. Talk is great, listening is great. Hopefully you've enjoyed this time, but it's really about what are you going to do with this? Well, I'm going to be your accountability partner here for a minute. So I want you to take a few steps and commit to these steps. Carve out some time today. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And commit to these things. And I'm going to give you a timeline. I'm going to give you a timeline to get these things completed. First thing, and I'm not going to give you 10 things. I'm just going to give you a few, okay? 3 most important things. Look at your business plan. If you don't have one, then put one together. Again, 1 page. That's all I'm asking. 1 page. And spend some time and figure out who you're serving, how you're going to serve them, what the revenue looks like based upon that. 1 page. Focus on that and see what happens. And do this by the 31st of this month. I'm giving you a lot of time. Usually I do this and give people, 48 hours. So I'm very lenient today. So by the end of this month, get this done. And if you have an existing business plan, refine it. Go back, spend some time, revisit it, and think about how you may look at things differently. Because a lot of people that have done this, which is a very small sliver of people, they do the business plan, it may be for a banker, for a loan or something to start with, and then it goes into the drawer and they never revisit it again. This is something that you should do twice a year, at least revisit it. What is your mission? That's the first thing that goes in the business plan. What is your mission? What are your values? Who are you here to serve? What does that look like? So what are you here to do? Put this in the business plan and get this done by the end of the month. My request. Thank you in advance. Your niche. You need to spend time on this. Refine it. Again, go narrow and deep and just see what happens. And then get that clarity around who you're here to serve. And this will help tremendously in terms of everything. So from marketing messaging to where you're going to reach these people to the programs or whatever products you have that are going to help them, that will be a byproduct of this. Again, by the end of the month. Build your support system. Spend time on this. Again, back to play to your strengths and having a mentor or a coach or an accountability partner. Build your support system. You need it because a year from today, you're going to need to look at where you are and say, gosh, when I started building my support system, look at what happened in my business. I looked at this as a business and I built this support system. Every business has a support system. Just internal, external, every business has a support system. When you boil it down, every single business has a support system in some way. You need to do the same thing as an entrepreneur. What does that support system look like for you? Who needs to be in that? And then flip it over and think about how you can be of service to someone else in the same way. You're here to support them. What does that look like? By the end of the month. Everybody got that? The end of the month. 10/31. Now, I chuckle every time I see this. Now, I didn't make this. This one of our students, I was teaching a program a couple of years ago, and I kept hammering home about focus, 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 and you define your niche and refine your niche and all those things, and it was all about this focus. My board, my whiteboard, my focus board, and so he put together this picture. I don't even know where he grabbed this picture of me, and he put this together, and it's so true though. The focus piece for all of us is don't chase the shiny pennies. Focus on who you're here to serve, what their points of pain are, and how you can help them with that. If you do those three things, your business will explode. Thanks. I enjoyed our time. I saw great things going on in the chat room. I greatly appreciate that. Get busy. Focus on these things and spend the time that you need to work on the fundamentals that will lead to you serving more by doing these things. So Diane, thanks for having me.
Well, gosh, I am so excited. And ladies, do you guys have any questions for Drayton while we have him here? This has been a great seminar. I've been taking notes, and I know that I have my homework as well, because we always need to refine. We always, I love what you said about we need people to help us see ourselves. We need help people to walk alongside and to basically kind of clear away the clutter, because we can get so cluttered up with the squirrels that we can't even see that there's a path. Ladies, do you have any questions for Drayton while we have him here? He has rescued himself from Crazyville, as I call it, and he has actually helped many, many other people do that. Drayton, I would love for you to tell them a little bit more about why and how you changed the name of your Rescue Institute. You didn't share that yet, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
When we started the Rescue Institute, again, when I started this whole thing, when I retired, retired, and shifted from being that CEO guy to helping people in the service world that we live in now, I wanted to be completely mission driven. And I said, I've saved myself from the life I've created, and I rescued myself from that. And I started thinking, okay, so that's really what it is. It's not rescuing people, it's helping people rescue themselves, save themselves from the lives they've created, but with that ownership. And as we continued down that path and created all these programs and courses and grew, it became very clear that in order to reach more people, the Rescue Institute can only go so far. And people are like, what's a Rescue Institute? And we spent so much time explaining it that we could have spent that time helping people. So we have progressed that into the Executive Coaching University about 3 years ago. And we've just grown by leaps and bounds. And we're here because of that. We're serving more people. And the most important thing, in addition to that, is that we're now getting entree, or have over the last few years, entree into bigger organizations where we can have more of an impact. They wouldn't have brought in the Rescue Institute. They bring in the Executive Coaching University. And we're certified with the International Coach Federation and SHRM and CIPD in the UK. And it's that institutional credibility that now organizations are going, oh yeah, okay, we need you to do X, Y, and Z to serve more people.
Okay. Well, and that's an important piece I wanted everybody to hear, ladies. What I wanted you to hear in this is that as you grow your business name might change. Okay. This is a great example, and what I'm really glad I was able to ask here live about this, because the name of Drayton's company has changed since I was a part of it, but this one makes a lot more sense. The other one made sense after you heard and after you understood and after you read the information on the website. But if you have a company that's confusing to people, you have a barrier right up front. So I'm just so grateful that you've come here with us today. Again, for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, we have recorded this like we do with every single training we've ever done for 4.5 years. Drayton and I had a great chat before we started about the use of different webinar programs, and we're always no matter who we are, no matter how it looks from the outside, we're always learning. We always have something that we can teach. We always have something that we can learn from every single person that comes into our life. So Drayton, I'm just grateful that you reached out to me, and I'm grateful that I can share you with my people. In fact, can you tell them a little bit more about the course that you're offering us the discount on, the $400 discount?
If there's an interest with any of you to go down the path to learn more about coaching, and this is for people that are, we get a lot of HR people, we get a lot of management people, we get a lot of business owners, PhDs. If you're of that ilk and you want some training, we're happy to provide our Certified Mastermind Executive Coaching Program, 10 credit hours, all of that with ICF and SHRM. For you guys, and Diane's got the link. We're going to provide you guys with a considerable discount, and we'd love to be of service if that is a good fit for any of you.
Okay, great. I will post the link for that, ladies, in our private group. And this is a program that I went through in 2009. Before NACWE was born. NACWE was born in 2010, and it was a result of these many, many pieces that I had to put together in order to get to that place. So we're going to, in honor of our time today, I know everybody needs to get back to work and out back there marketing and leading and coaching. So I've invited Drayton to close us in prayer, and then we'll get this webinar finished up.
Yeah, well, thank you, Diane, and thanks to everyone here too. So just in closing, just want to give a prayer of gratitude. So, dear Lord, thank you so much for all that you've given to us. Thank you for this time today. Thank you for Diane and what she brings to this world as a shining light. And thank you for the gifts that we've all been given that we're going to carry forward from here. In your name, amen.
Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're not used to having men here, but thank you so much, Drayton. We will get this uploaded so everybody that didn't make it today live will be able to watch it later. Thanks again for your time. What a great training.
Take care, all.
All right. Bye, ladies.